today I have a 2008 Honda Civic Si coupe. It's red and it's had quite the history. So the 2008 Honda Civic Si coupe has a 2-liter K20 engine mated to a 6-speed transmission with a helical limited slip differential. Zane here bought this car a few months ago from this nice dealership called Torres Automotive Group. We're gonna have a shameless plug here. Torres Automotive Group sold him this car. 2 days later, it was overheating. It had a crack in the block. They sold him a car with a crack in the block. The K series of this era have that issue. So do the R18 engines. The R18 engines were covered under recall, but unfortunately the K series engines weren't covered under recall for the cracked block issue. Now he's hungry. Yeah. So if you can click the link in the description, donate money to Zane's food fund, that would be greatly appreciated. So, he got a new motor from a junkyard SI with a good block, and it had about 20,000 miles less than what this chassis has, so it worked out.
When I bought the car, I thought it was great, but after I've owned it, I figured out it still needs a thing or two, but since I spend every dime I've earned for the last year on putting a new motor in it, yeah, there's some things that haven't been done. Big one, probably brakes. Sometimes the blower motor stops working. There's a big dent in it. My subwoofer's broken. The list goes on, but it works.
So, we're gonna start with engine performance. So the K20 revs up to 8,000 RPM, makes 200 horsepower at the crank. I think it's 197. And the VTEC does go bois. Let's do a little first, second pull. Just kidding, we hit third. The car's eager to pull out of corners. The short gears, high power band, and the helical LSD put a lot of traction on the front and really rip out of corners, which is desired for a front-wheel drive vehicle. The steering's really quick. There is a little more body roll than I expected for it to be an SI. So there's a lot of movement going around here. I feel like some stiffer springs would really tighten this car up and make it a monster. But right now it's moving pretty quick. It gets through corners, steering's quick. The seat bolstering's awesome, but I think it still has high enough limits where you need a better seat to hold yourself in at the limit. In usual Honda fashion, it has a great Honda shifter. The crappy thing is K-series transmissions suck. Really common to lose third gear on them. This one pops out of second and third gear when you're on power shifting. So you gotta hold it in. Kind of annoying. This is really common throughout all the K-series transmissions of this era. And just something you gotta look out for if you're ever looking for this car. And it's something you gotta be aware of. I think it's more of a matter of it's gonna happen eventually rather than if I take care of it, it's never gonna happen. I think regardless, it's gonna happen. So coming downhill the canyon, the brakes need help. They're worn out, so it's hard to give a fair judgment of it. But I do feel like a good, like most cars, a good pad compound will really help. Because right now I don't trust the brakes. The brake pedal feels good, but I don't trust them to stop me after a few hard corners. Going through this canyon, I'm not impressed with the suspension. Like, the geometry is great. It's able to put the grip down, but it doesn't feel tight. The steering feels tight, but the actual way the body moves doesn't feel tight. It's comfortable, and it soaks up bumps really well, but I feel like it's lacking in the performance department. And when you're buying a car that's sport integrated, I feel like you'd expect more out of it. But regardless of that, ripping it up to redline consistently, back on the brakes, loading up the front end and rolling back into power out of a corner makes such a lively experience driving this car that this car's a blast, and it's wasted not doing this kind of stuff. I know a lot of people buy them as dailies, which is great. They're great dailies, and they like to build them for highway pulls and street racing, which is cool, but you're missing out, man. You're missing out. Luckily, being a Honda, a Civic Si, there's a lot of aftermarket support for it. So you can build this car you have a great base of a car with a lot of technology built into both the suspension and the engine of its era. And you can really improve off of that. I know these cars, you can actually, I've seen some like NA built made like 330 at the wheels, which is crazy for a 4-cylinder, normally aspirated to do that. My 350Z can't even do that without a lot of work. When in 6th gear and cruising, it feels like an Accord. And that's I think one of the things with the SI, is it's really a dual personality car. The low RPMs and slow speeds, it feels like a sedate Accord. And at the high RPMs, it feels more lively, more hot hatchish. Even though, is this a hatchback? This isn't a hatchback,
No,
but
it's a coupe.
this car does solicit the douche bros to race you. Do you get bothered a lot, people on the road?
Yeah, I've actually raced 2 different guys in BMWs. Not like intentionally, it just caught them at stoplights, and I've beat 2 guys with straight 6 Beamers. So I know that this car isn't helpless. But other than that, I'm not much of a racer. I don't do that stuff because I like to keep my insurance low.
So this car has an awesome navigation system. So we got it right here. We're in the canyon, and it's awesome. I feel like I'm playing Gran Turismo. You know, and you got the map on the corner, and you can watch from what corner's coming up next. It's like a video game driving this car. Like the EGs I reviewed about a month ago, the Honda Civic Si is a great place to be. The community's great. The annoying people have left. And it's a great place to be because there's lots of aftermarket, there's lots of resources, and the car's just a blast to drive. And if you're looking for something a little newer, something, because it's harder to get into an old car in daily sometimes. If you're looking for something similar to that experience, but in a more modern setup, this is the car right here. And you can get this in coupe and sedan. So they even make this Civic Si in a sedan. So if you need 4 doors for all of your good lady friends, you got that covered. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me how much you hate me down below. Dislike the video or like it, either or, whatever works. And thanks for watching, guys.